Good evening, traders. It is Friday evening, September 15th, 2023, and this is your daily PATsScalper chart review. Today was a great day. Had 8 wins and 0 losses. It was overall a very bearish day. There was really only one solid bull leg relative to all the other bear legs. Some chop throughout and kind of set us up for some solid range entries. But all in all, you can see here the price just kept moving down. So let's just jump right into things and review the chart. Now, to recap on our strategy, we're looking for two strong legs to have strong rejections, and then we enter on that second failure. And what do I mean by legs? Well, a leg is just a movement in price that is in a single direction. So there's strong legs, there's weak legs, and a strong leg is a single movement in price. You can see here this is a strong bull leg because this is relative to these doji bars. This is what, 3-4 times the size of these bars. This is a strong move up, and again, we're counting the legs from where these bulls first started buying down here all the way up to where the sellers just started to come in. So this is a strong bull leg, and that's what we look for, is this first leg to then fail, and then we look for another attempt by those same bulls to push price higher. And if it fails to go higher, that's where then we look to enter short on a good bar with good context, and that's the strategy. And again, it works on the opposite side where we've got a bull leg, or rather bear leg here, that attempts to move price lower. It fails, price rejects from this price area, then attempts another leg down, and then as once that fails to again go further in price, bulls take over, and that's where price rejects. And that's where we look to scalp out our 4 ticks. We're not looking for the big moves. We're just looking to get in and out. Once these rejections show up, again, with good context and good bars, we get in and out. And again, the majority of the time, and that's what we play on, these failures are going to move in our favor. So to break that down as far as why, if you think about it as a long, when I enter down here, I want to make the most money. And that's what we're all here for, right? We're traders. And when I see price go all the way up here, maybe I sell half my position because I want to maybe lock in profits, but I still want price to go all the way up here. And when it fails, maybe I try to maybe average down a bit and buy a little bit more. I see price kind of continue going up, and I'm still hoping that price is going to come up here. Well, when I see, okay, my price was rejected, then it happens again. Well, that's where that trader who's long all the way down here is going to start to think, okay, well, maybe I'm not going to get price up here. Maybe I'm going to take everything off the table. And what does a long have to do to close their position? Well, they have to sell. And a combination of sellers who enter the market up here combined with buyers who have now realized price isn't going to go anywhere, they now join that momentum, and then that's where again we look to scalp. We look to get in and out as buyers in this case start to sell and help the movement with the sellers who are also holding this line move forward. And again, it works in the reverse favor as well. Maybe I'm a short who entered up here. I see price moving. I want it to maybe get back to down where these swing lows were. First rejection. Okay, I still have some conviction that price is going to move down here, and it starts to, and I maybe sell a little bit more, whatever, and then it rejects. Okay, well now I'm going to start thinking, and if I'm up here or even here, maybe I go break even if I'm here, or start taking profits off the all my profits off the table, because again, I wanted price to go down here as a seller. It rejected, and then it rejected again, and now I'm starting to think again, it's not going down here. I'm going to take my profits, and again, that's with the longs who are down here buying join with those shorts up here or wherever else in this leg to then close their positions, meaning they also have to buy. That moves price up, and again, that's where we look to enter. So that's the gist of our strategy. As we go through these trades, the yellow is the technical setups. It does follow our 2 pushes, 2 rejections, and look for that reversal, but it doesn't necessarily follow our entry rules. And our entry rules are pretty simple. We're looking for room. We don't want to look to scalp where the next swing high or swing low is 1 or 2 ticks away because we're looking for 4 ticks of profit. We're looking for the closest support or resistance, whatever I'm opposite, is points away. And that gives us, again, enough room to get filled, get out in four and filled as well. Hopefully, goes past four ticks, and that's why I use runners, and then we scalp in and out. And who cares about the rest of the move? And that's where the runners are the gravy for those those larger moves that do keep you in. Um, but again, we're scalpers. That's the name of the channel. That's where I have success, and that's where I want to help you guys get success as well. So, um, again, yellow arrows are technical setups, but necessarily bad bars or entry rules, and we'll go through them as we see them. And then green arrows, obviously, successful trades. So 9:30 comes around. We don't. I called this out because rejection is first here. It's not necessarily a great rejection compared to this strong leg, this bear leg here. Yes, price halted, but the move up was, I would call this a somewhat decent bull leg here, but then you get these dojis. And these dojis, again, anytime you see dojis, it's always good to second guess, and when you second guess, you should stay out. And a lot of times, sometimes you'll miss trades, but a lot of times you'll stay out and avoid being stopped. So when you see these dojis, again, that's buyers and sellers starting to kind of argue over price, and then yeah, we shoot back down. And then when I see this, again, I don't like this leg. As far as a strong bear leg like this, I want maybe a price at least gets up to here, or at least a strong bull bar that gives me some confidence that there's buyers in this area. And then it shoots right back down. And first of all, I don't take these inside bars because yeah, it closed nice, but if you're looking for maybe entering here before it closes, it could totally tick all the way back down, and then you get stopped out. So I always avoid these inside bars. I like the double bottoms, and then maybe shoots down and then comes back up and engulfs, and that's when I'll enter. You want to have confidence in the momentum that buyers around here, and with this leg, I really didn't. And yeah, we're right at open. It did work, but I didn't like it again. Inside bar, you do have room, and again, that's what we're looking for. Is if I were to enter here, there's plenty of room up to this swing high here. So the room works, but I'm not confident that there's buyers here just because of these dojis and this bad leg relative to this large leg. This leg, bull leg here, this is what I started to count as the first rejection for this strong bear leg, and that's why I always say to ignore these micro movements because this I'd say maybe medium movement here, but like these dojis up and down, if they were to tick up and down, those are micro movements. You want to look for the strong visual legs that confirm, you know, it's not just chop here, the leg started up here, continued all the way down really to here, and then you can see this strong rejection where it's a strong bull bar, strong bull bar, strong bull bar. Price got all the way back up to here before then you see this hammer top and it goes back down. And that's where we don't want to look for these first rejections because we want to be confident that if we're going long that there's buyers in that area. And how we confirm that is again on those second rejections where not only do we have buyers or sellers going with us, but the opposite side is also closing their positions because they are doubting their resolve to move price to that new extreme. So I saw this job, and that's where, this is what I was counting as the first solid leg. Then I see this close, and as much as I don't like hammers, first of all, this was a small risk. Second of all, I was confident that there were buyers in this area. Again, I wasn't playing on this just because of how this leg was so strong. And then again, chop, 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 chop. I counted this as the next bear leg down, and you can see this is a strong bear bar, and price just stopped. And as far as what I really liked about this, obviously plenty of room. We're way under EMA, um, but if you see this low get ticked through and then shoot right back up, there's stops down here, or at least you would assume there would be, where all these longs who entered on this first leg would have their stop, and then if it hits it, they lose conviction, and then price should go lower. And that's where these bears are looking for that new extreme. And because it didn't get this new extreme, it ticked through, supposedly got these stops out, And if these stops are hit as a long, you sell to close. So you should be joining seller momentum plus longs being stopped out to then sell to close to join that momentum. And that means this price should go pretty hefty down. And instead, this went what, like one, two ticks, um, ticked up, and then good bull bar, um, low risk, plenty of room. I took this. Immediately got my four ticks, and yeah, I got my dojis and runner got out or whatever. But I got my four ticks, and I think it eventually went up, and yeah, it did. So that's where again we only go for the four ticks. You get the five tick, and then it ticks through, and you're good, or then it can reverse. Who cares? We're in and out, and yeah, it chopped, but got my runner. But again, a win is a win, and that's what we look for. Is we look for confirmation that there's buyers in this area so that we can join them. And if you think again as a short, I want price to go all the way down here. It didn't do it the first time. I see, and everyone else is seeing what we're seeing. They see these buyers, and then they see price again stop. They're starting to think, okay, maybe I want to close my position. And then again, you got these buyers who should have been stopped out here, ticked through, and then it held and shot right back up. Low risk. I'm going to take this every time. So solid trade here, and that's what we want to look for is these where the stops should be, and did they tick through and do nothing? And that's a good indicator as this leg is probably confirmed as support, and it's a good, assuming you got the room and you got the good bar, take it, and that's what we look for. On top of that, this range was drawn. Once I saw this leg stop right here, I drew this, and again another confirmation. So solid trade all around. Again, chop, chop, chop. So really, I'm just sitting on my hands through all this. This is a okay bear leg, but I don't like stuff like this because this is just bulls and bears arguing throughout this whole price move, and you want to look for these solid moves, and that's where I counted this as one chop, 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 and then a solid move down stops, and then again, that's what you want to look for entry. All this stuff, when you see like these T bars and these dojis and these chop, like don't do stuff like this. You want to wait for the good setups. When you see those T bars, when you see these dojis, lots of wicks all around, price is moving, yeah, but like it's not necessarily in a good direction, or buyers and sellers are competing with one another. You want to join where buyers are obviously entering if I'm long, or sellers entering if I'm short, as well as the other side really doubting their position and also joining you closing their position, or maybe having it or whatever. That's why we don't want a bottom pick or top pick. We don't want to do the first entries, or rather the first rejections, because this could tick up and go all the way back down. Who knows? You want to wait for the confirmation that, hey, it rejected in a strong manner, and that's what I'm calling a strong leg. Strong meaning it's a full body bar, whether it's bull or bear, and that shows because we've got tick charts, right? These are 2,000 tick charts. We know every tick is in order, and a volatile, strong move from buyers or sellers is going to have these full body bars, that exhausted the other side. And that's what I like about these tick charts is it shows, I don't have to look at time and volume and all that. This shows the raw movement of the price as buyers and sellers are fighting out. And in these strong movements, that's conviction that there's buyers started down here for whatever reason. Again, we're not looking to swing. We're not looking to get the details on, the overall market and all that. We're just looking at price. We're looking at how it moves. We're looking at what all the other players are doing, and then we just join with them when we see a good opportunity. We get out with our money, and we let the world move on. So that's what we look for. And again, you want to wait for the perfect setups. Just ignore stuff like this. This was a little bit more advanced setup just because I saw this tick up and then hammer down, and then you see this second inverse hammer. When you see stuff, if you're just learning, ignore stuff like this. But when I see a double hammer like this where they're opposite of each other, I like to think of that as just an immediate kind of like mid-range where those tops and bottoms are. And because this ticked up and shot down, there were longs somewhat aggressive here. Yes, it failed, but and went all the way down here. But then you get this again solid bull hammer, and then this price just stopped. So low risk. Yeah, 7 ticks. That's exactly what we're looking for. 8 ticks, but plenty of room up to this swing high. And I just played this as far as this double hammer inverse. It shows me that this is kind of this middle range, strong rejection, right where price was, and it went right back up. So again, I'm gonna look for 4 ticks. A little bit more aggressive, but worked for me. So this one, again, I call these out all the time, both in Discord and in every chart review because I love these setups. And as I say all the time, I take them pretty much no matter what. Um, Even if there's like a swing low or some other um, not enough room argument, because these are so volatile, I kind of ignore the room, and you're only going for 4 ticks. And again, at least for me, it works, and that's why I call them out. So this was an engulfing failure where we've got this first bull leg up, bear leg, relative to these size bars, and then it shoots as this bar closes. This bar just opened, ticks down, then engulfs bullish up, gets all the bulls in, thinking, hey, now this is resistance. And that's where I didn't long this, even though it is the second failure, just because these bars are kind of, first of all, I went already long here. I don't want to be too greedy, but also these are doji. So once I see this rejection, I kind of think is this one solid bear bar, and this is relative to this not necessarily a good rejection. Um, and again, this itself is a doji. So that's why I didn't go long here. I just sat on my hands, and it saved me because I caught this engulfing failure. So again, this bar as it opened, ignoring how it's right now, ticked down, then engulfed bullish, and then it closed as this doji. And as soon as I see this, I put my limit order, or rather stop limit, which once it ticks through, then it drops my limit right at close, waiting for this to fail. It doesn't always, sometimes price will continue up, and then I just move my order away and close it and don't enter. But I leave it there in the hopes that we get this strong rejection. I get filled here, and then I immediately get my 4 ticks. Again, yes, you've got your swing low here, and that's where these failures are just so strong that I always ignore, hey, I've got my swing low here. Do I have enough room? It's just going to go right through it. Because if you think about it, as this engulfs bullish, you've got all the stops here, and then once it ticks through this first set of stops, those longs now just have to close. And to close again as a long, I have to sell. So I'm joining with the seller momentum that just ticked all the stops. Now the longs that just went on this good looking, or what was good looking, bullish bar now get stopped out. And again, that's where I join that kind of double momentum. The sellers pushing price down, the longs getting out. We got our 4 ticks. And that's where, again, a lot of times this will go 4 or 5 tickets and then go right back up to how the price was acting. But we're not looking for the big moves. We're getting in and out, 4 ticks. That's why we're not going for anything more. Um, and again, I just love these engulfing failures. Because again, if you read up online, hey, what's an engulfing bar, ignoring the failure part, they'll tell you when this bar engulfs, if you're confident the price is going to move up, you put your stop here, or some folks will say like lowest swing and maybe it goes here. And that's what I'm betting on is everyone putting their stops there, and that when it ticks down, all those stops have to close, joins with me and the momentum of the strong bar, and then shoots down. And that's why I call out it should be a violent move. And every time I point these out, you can see it's like these are some strong bars. If it kind of ends in a doji or sits there, it's better to probably just break even and get out because again, these moves need to be volatile. If this stop, or rather these stops get hit on this failure, they should be getting out. And if they don't, that means those longs that should have their stops here, just as the same reason I did here, and price stalled, that's a good signal that those longs are still around. And you don't want to be short when those longs are still around. Again, we're scalping, we're not joining big moves. If we're wrong, get out before you lose more money. So whether it's break even or as close to. So again, these moves need to be strong, and if they're not, start just to think about getting out. Got my 4 ticks, great trade. I love these setups. Um, Again, more dojis, nothing really here. Yeah, you get your bull leg here. And again, as far as counting goes, you want to count based on when the new extremes hit because you have to think as a short, I want to make as much money as possible. If I enter up here, I want price to move all the way down here. So if the leg moves here and then it continues to move all the way down here, the shorts have won. There's no more buyers up here because price moved all the way down. Now they're going to start entering here, or maybe they have an idea of entering all the way down here and price has to shoot all the way down. Who knows? And that's where once this support, so to speak, fails, that's where we kind of reset our count. So bull leg, we're waiting for kind of another bull leg up here. We get it, but I don't like stuff like this. I guess we can count this first. These dojis, if you wanted to count this as a bear leg rejection, don't don't enter on these. Yes, you've got some hammers. You can see price somewhat stalling, but these are all dojis, meaning sellers and whatnot and buyers are still arguing with one another. And you get this and then it's engulfing, there's a certain, I wouldn't say certain, but there's a good chance that it could maybe tick up now that you're entered and then shoot back down, and then not maybe the good entry point was all the way down here. So again, it pays to be patient, and if you don't have a solid leg, like look how solid this bull leg was. This is an obvious, buyers are here, got rejected, and then prices started to move down. These are just bad, non-obvious leg bars. Yeah, it's a bare leg once it's all painted. But I'm not confident that sellers are just right here and then we're immediately stopped. And I'm also not confident again, buyers because of these dojis back here. So all in all, don't take stuff like this. You want the legs to be solid. Solid move up. These are solid move down. Like I know sellers really tried to move the price down here, and buyers just said no thanks. Same thing here. Sellers really tried to move the price. These are some strong bars, and then this is again like it ticked through, supposedly got the stops out, didn't work. That's where I entered, and again strong bars, and the fact that they've got strong bodies. These dojis, lack of bodies, lots of wicks. Just stay away from stuff like this. Just don't do it. Um, Again, as I was saying, when you see these hammer tops, yes, it's a good signal that price is starting to stall. There is a top, but I wait for confirmation of that leg to fail. A lot of times, if you were to, and yes, this worked. First of all, you don't want to enter once this closes all the way down here. You again buy low, sell high, but when this engulfs and a double top without a bear confirmation, this could continue the leg. And that's where don't enter stuff like this until you know the leg has stopped. And how you know it stopped again is you kind of get those hammers that either are bearish if you want a short or bullish if you want a long. And then you look after that has closed that, hey, I've got two bars that obviously painted a double top or close to a rejection. Then I think about going and entering. Here, again, this could tick down. Yes, you've got your double top as it forms, but then it could tick back up, and now that's the engulfing, that more gets more bulls entered, and then you get stopped out. So don't take stuff like this as in hindsight they look nice, but in real time you'll just fall for stuff that you shouldn't fall for and just get stopped out. So new extreme made. We're waiting for maybe another push down, rejection, and then move up. Never got it. Just shot right back up. And again, I don't like these T doji bar, like rather inverse hammers here. If this is one tick body, if this was any, this is one tick away from being a doji, being a bad T bar. And you want to think these hammer bars with these small bodies, ignore them. Because like I said, this could form, and hey, I'm gonna short this. First of all, don't short if it's a bull body. You want to make sure this is a bear body hammer if you were to do this. Um, you know, but look at the wick compared to the body. Buyers push price all the way up here, and yeah, sellers pushed them down. But again, this ended bullish, and it again, as I always say, could tick down and then fool you, go all the way back up, and then maybe you down here you get entry. And by the time this paint closes and then ticks down, this is again an inside bar. So I could argue this maybe would be a decent trade, even probably not though, because we did make our new extreme. But for argument's sake, if I wanted to enter here for whatever reason, let's just assume the context is good, I would want an engulfing down to prove that there's still sellers from whatever rejection was up here, or maybe a double top that tells me price held, didn't go any higher, and then is now coming down. So always avoid these inside bars as much as, again, in hindsight they look nice, and maybe gets you, again, in hindsight, the move. But in real time, you just want to make sure when you're entering with confidence. So again, bad legs just all around. You get a solid bar here and some, solid bear leg. But again, I just don't play around with trend lines. Um, we've got this range drawn, and you can start to see where I like when you can see these stops that should be up here. And let me just draw this line. So if you are, let's say, short, you're going to have your stops probably roughly up here, maybe even up here, minus one tick, or in this case, it's double top here. And when you see that tick through, and let's just go up here. Um, when you see that tick through and then shoot all the way back down, that's where, first of all, you got like a literally quad test, 1, 2, 3, 4, solid bull leg relative to all these others, and then an immediate solid rejection. And again, the main reason I took this is because we've got all these stops for 1, 2. It didn't tick through this, but this double top here, that as it ticks through, if the sellers weren't confident the price was going to go down, they would get out and price would continue to move up, or at least move up more than one tick. But instead, it created this double top, matching top with this, and that gave me a signal that, okay, these where the stop should be did not get stopped out. Price didn't move any further. There's obviously sellers that are still here, and I want to enter with them on top of, again, your top of this range, plenty of room down to the yes to swing low, but I'm looking for 4 ticks. I'm not looking for anything more. Good move overall. Got a solid runner and good trade overall. And again, you want to wait for the perfect setups, because if you're looking at, first of all, again, chop, 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 ignore that. But then you see this leg, and then this T-bar, again, I just don't like. It's a doji, and it's not. You're not confident that there's still. Yeah, you've had the rejection up here, but buyers and sellers argued enough to move the price to nil. And again, T-bars can tick down and shoot all the way back up, and then you get your entry. And that's where you're gonna have missed moves because you don't take T-bars, and I do them all the time. But if you see the day, there's plenty of opportunities, and I got 8 trades that match my preferences and strategy and entry points, and it was a great day. So just because a move happened, and that's why I always say FOMO and overtrading, let the move happen. Don't be greedy. Make sure you're waiting for the perfect setups, because if you don't, that's how you blow accounts. That's how you lose a lot of money. It's better to not trade and sit on your hands, and you'll start to realize that you just become profitable by being patient. And again, because yes, some of this would have worked, and again, you don't want to look at that in hindsight. You want to wait for the good setups that always, if not almost always, work, and that's what you want to trade. So I was patient. I saw this solid rejection right here, and I got the move. So um, anywhere else here, you wouldn't have gotten a run at all. So that's where it pays to be patient and solid move all around. Um, Again, just doji stuff. Yeah, a rejection here, but then price just continued to make a new extreme. And again, from counting perspective, once you see this new extreme, this is the first bear leg, first rejection. You're thinking of how shorts, in the case of this bear leg, how shorts are thinking. If they entered up here, they want to get as much money as possible before they close their position. So if price stalls, yeah, maybe they're still hopeful that it's going to move down here, and then it continues to move. Maybe they sell more, and price is going to continue more, and then they're again looking for price even lower, and then a rejection. Then maybe they start to get out around here. So that's where you want to, again, when you get that new extreme, that's where the count resets. That's where you want to start thinking, okay, this is the bear leg now. This is the rejection. Goes all the way up here, and that's where, again, you want to just ignore these dojis, these unknown, I don't know what price is going to do bars. It'll just save you, and then you want to look at the visual legs. This is a visual good bull leg that then got rejected. I took this, failed in golfing, and again, I take these all the time. You can see I took it short, even though this double bottom is here. That's also part of the reason why I took it. This bar was the failed in golfing trigger. Um, so what happens is it tick down, shoots up. Now that's a bullish engulfing bar. You get all the longs that enter here, all their stops go here. They again think it's a solid trade because you get this double bottom here. Hey, I've got my support. This is the rejection. I'm going long here. My stops are now going to match. And let me draw it again. They put all their stops right here. And that's what I'm hoping to fail. And as I say, it totally can't, or sometimes it'll totally just, that engulfing will work and price will move up, and I do nothing. But I'm waiting for it to not do that. I'm waiting for it to fail. That's why I'm calling it engulfing failure. You get this engulfing bull bar, and then I'm waiting it for to fail, meaning all those stops when they enter down here, you can see closes this doji, and then this bar rapidly moves down, and that's where I was counting on. I'm not entering when this closes with a limit and trusting it's going to tick down. I have my stop limit sitting here, so as soon as it does tick down, meaning sellers are then being aggressive, then I enter. And again, I was playing that all the stops here and the stops that just were added here that went long for this bullish engulfing are going to be stopped out, and got my 4 ticks. Again, yeah, reverse got my runner, but you know, and that's why you don't go for more, because you can see you probably maybe would have been stopped out, as this didn't go all the way 8 ticks. But the point is, in and out, even these small moves, yes, it reversed on you a little bit. We got our 4 ticks. That's all that counts. And these, as I say, always say, these failed engulfing because of the stops and just the way the momentum as it moves price down to then get the stops, which then joins the momentum. Almost always get your 4 ticks. That's why I again call these out all the time. I'm gonna take these all the time. As I want to call this out, just yes, you have this bare leg, but bad bars. Um, by the time this forms, and that's where you want, again, confirmation is, I've got this closed, and then this, okay, price is stopping, solid bull bar, but then I guess maybe you take that double top, but this is still only the first rejection. You maybe count this, but again, this is the bear leg, or rather the bull leg. If you're counting this as the bear leg, you're doing something wrong. This is the first bear rejection, and we're looking for this price to go back up and then down to test this, and then we look to go long. And yeah, just not a good bar. So again, you want to wait for those solid legs. These are just some dojis. You got the hammer here, but um, really no room. So just avoid stuff like that. Again, T-bar. I don't. Again, I'll call it all the time. Don't short trend lines. This, assuming you took this short, I again doesn't follow our strategy, but just for argument's sake, um, you can see it kind of shoots you back up and gets those stops here. So bad bars. I was actually hoping this would maybe get a good bear signal, and then I would have my long up here for that trap. Didn't form, but again, you got your solid bull leg rejection, solid bull leg rejection, but this is a doji. Again, you want to wait for the leg to close as rejected, and then you look to enter. And when this closes doji, um, and let's just say you count this leg too. So first attempt at a new high fails, second attempt at a new high, but it's a bad T-bar. Again, you just ignore those. Same thing here. If assuming you want to count, this is the first leg, failure, second leg, another doji, and again trend line. I just don't take stuff like that. So perfect setups, only and always. Just any dojis, any again unknown. I don't really know what price is going to do. Don't take the 50-50 chances, because there's a 50-50 chance you're going to lose, and if you're scalping, that's just not profitable. So you want the strong momentum, the strong bars, and these dojis just don't give you that, because if you think, price went up, price went down, price went all the way back to the middle, you don't know who's going to win when this closes. And yeah, you get this bear bar down, but this is an inside bar that could tick down and shoot up, and you're stopped out. Same thing here. You've got this wide bar, yeah, bare body, but it could tick down and shoot back up. And again, hindsight, it worked, but you want to look for the good setups. Just nothing good here. Good bear leg rejection, new extreme, so retest count, and really just bears just kept pushing, 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 pushing. Lots of consolidation here. I was kind of tempted on this. Couple reasons I didn't take it, just because you do have a bear leg, solid rejection, chop, 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 kind of a bear leg because relative to these bars, and then a decent rejection. Again, I didn't take this because you one want to ignore the dojis. Two, you've got this range and you want to buy low, sell high. If you were to buy here, you're by definition doing the opposite, where you should be selling up here. And look how strong this leg is. These relative legs aren't good. And again, we're looking for room. This is one tick to this top here. So yes, this is an engulfing bull, but you would have gotten it. But don't take stuff like this. Again, hindsight, yeah, it works. But if you look at this range, this consolidation, this started from a solid bear leg, and yeah, you got overshoot, and maybe that's a good argument. And that's part of the reason why I was tempted. You do have the overshoot, but this range, maybe if this bar was ticked through these stops, and then another low range bull hammer, yeah, I'd probably take that if it was low risk. But up here, with this close of this doji, even if you take it on the engulfing, there's no room to this top up here. You're top of range. Again, you want to wait for the perfect setups. Just don't take stuff like this. We get the bull leg, rejection. I'm looking for maybe shorting up here if it ever gets there. We don't get it. I took this as far as a breakout pullback. So range breaks out. We get a bear leg, solid bear leg. Yeah, you got this doji, but look at these solid bars and solid leg overall if you look at it from high level. And then we get an okay rejection, but then you see these hammers, and rather these inverse hammers. One inverse hammer, two inverse hammer, and as much as I didn't like this T-bar, it was again what I like, where you've got these stops here from these legs here. You've got these hammers telling you sellers are trying to push price down, but look at the wicks. Buyers are moving price all the way up every single candle, and they're not letting price go any lower. That's why these hammers are forming. The sellers are, yeah, pushing price down, but they're not getting past this double bottom. They got one tick, and price is really, again, just stalling here. So, again, I wouldn't have taken this if this was maybe double bottom, but because this ticked down where you would have stops here, gets them, and then price doesn't go anywhere, and then ticks back up. I took this on the engulfing. Again, low risk, 5 tick bar, 6 ticks risk to get my 4 ticks. The tops are up here. I've got plenty of room with my 4 ticks. I'm going to take this all day. My run I got stopped out, unfortunately, I believe, with this bar here. So I didn't get the full leg. But again, got my 4 ticks. Solid trade on the breakout pullback. You want to look out for stuff like this, where you can see the hammers form. You can see sellers are trying to push price down, Buyers ain't having it, and ticks through a stop line and doesn't go anywhere. That's a good chance that those longs again have that conviction to move up. And maybe they don't overall, right? Maybe the leg moves up to here and then moves back down. But again, we're only going for 4 ticks, and that's what a scalper is. So solid bull leg, new extreme. So reset the count. So first leg here, first rejection, but then you kind of get this push up and a little bit higher. And with this kind of congestion here, I don't necessarily take stuff like this. Also, inside bar. The range has been formed yet. That's been drawn. But again, inside bar that from this solid bull leg, this could again tick up, down, and then shoot back up, and maybe your entry point was up here, and now you're stopped out. So again, hindsight, stuff like this works, but you just want to wait for that confirmation of that rejection. And when you see this inside bar, yes, strong bear body, but it's not a double top. It's not engulfing. It's an inside bar. Yeah, you've got your room. Yeah, it's in this area. But just because it rejected in the same area doesn't mean that it's a true rejection. Again, you want to make sure that you've got some solid identifier, in this case a double top, maybe engulfing, and then you look to enter with another good bear bar. So again, yeah, it worked, but don't take stuff like this. Same thing here. Bullet, and that's where we've got the new extreme. You can start this as the first attempt to go move price all the way up here, failure, second attempt to move price all the way up here, failure. But again, I don't like these hammers. Yeah, it's got a decent body, but look at the wick. It went buyers push price all the way up, and that's they're aggressive. I think in hindsight, the stops up here maybe would have been a good trade because again, you take the stops up here. Yeah, honestly, in hindsight, probably mistrade for me because you do have the strong bull leg rejection, another strong bull leg rejection, and again the tick through here. So yeah, again, I guess in hindsight, solid trade. So if you took this, I missed it. Good trade here. Um, you got the new extreme, so now the Bears won out. Blue passes double bottom, shoots right back up. Again, doji crap. So nothing really to trade here. Nothing. Again, just middle of the range dojis. Nothing that you want to look at. As much as like again, you want to get in the market. Hey, I'm low, and now I get this, and you go for that, and okay, maybe it works, but then shoots right back down, and you're mid range. So as much as in hindsight stuff works like this, it never works in the long run. So you want to wait for these solid legs. So new extreme up here, solid bull push. I'm waiting for maybe another rejection up here. We get this solid rejection. But again, you get this bear hammer, and now I'm looking to short because solid bull leg rejection, and this is again solid rejection, another solid bull leg. But when this forms, again, inside bar and then shoots down, first of all, you don't want to, when this closes, don't ever enter here. But inside bar, as it ticks lower, you don't know again if it's going to tick lower and then continue this bull leg and then shoot back down. So avoid these inside bars. As much as this is again in hindsight good, this is a much better trade in hindsight because again you've got your stops that are supposedly sitting here. It ticks up, but then those stops are still holding, or rather they didn't get stopped out. Then price moves down here. You're not ticking up to the stop. You're an inside bar, and just not a good setup. Price slams all the way down. Yeah, okay rejection, but relative again to this whole leg, this is just piss poor. So I would count this whole thing as one good bear leg. Then maybe this rejection, primarily because you do see the dojis. As much as we don't like dojis, with a leg this strong, this does show us. These are 2K tick charts. Price isn't going anywhere, so there are buyers here. But again, we're looking for confirmation. Maybe if it went up in a strong move and then down, good entry. But blew right through it, so you're in this new extreme now. You're looking for another kind of push up and then down. So don't enter on stuff like this. As much as you do want a bottom pick, it's not going to work. And you got the break of the trend and the new extreme way under EMA. Yeah, it's a low risk bar. But again, relative to this large leg and this rejection just is so small. I would be fine taking this. Again, low risk, plenty of room, but only if this rejection was stronger. These are just all dojis. It doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't even go to the near top of this solid bear bar. I'm not confident that there's buyers even down here because again it broke down. So just don't take stuff like this. Yeah, it worked and went all the way up, but you'll save yourself a lot of losses by just waiting for the good setup, waiting for that second rejection, and then moving up. So again, just all chop here, and I want to, I'm calling these out because when you look at these bars painted, yes, it looks like all chop, but you get anxious to enter stuff like this, and that's why I always say like don't enter into trend line support or resistance because your 4 ticks is just where some shorts are going to see this trend line as resistance and start to short. And you've got your double tops up here. You're going to, not get your 4 ticks and it's going to shoot right back down and then you get stopped out. So as much as you like see this bar form, bear leg, rejection, but then you see the dojis, which again should keep you out, bear leg, rejection, don't take stuff like this because there's just no room. You're close to EMA, you got this trend line, these are dojis, so the leg isn't confident, and yeah, you tick through and got these stops, but again, there's just no room. The lower you are, or rather the further you are from EMA, if you're all the way up here and you want to short, the higher the probability that EMA is going to act as a magnet and move price down. Same thing if you're all the way down here and you want to long, better chance than longing up here because again, the EMA acts as a price magnet. It'll eventually, price will eventually get to it, no matter how bearish the leg. So that's where stuff like this, you want to make sure you got room, not much room at all, and you can see, those that fell for it get stopped out, and the leg just continues. So just all these dojis, just as much as you want to count those legs, don't. You want solid, obvious, movement, strong movement, in one direction, not these dojis just to not trust. And again, you got I got my first bear attempt to get a new extreme, and then maybe you can call this as like your double top, and then it pushes down, and maybe this is a good signal bar. But if you went long there, again, didn't take your 4 ticks, you're hitting against trend line. Again, all these shorts see this as resistance, and they're short in here, and you're not getting your ticks, and then you get stopped out. So just don't take chop like this. Again, as much as you want to enter the market, you're going to pay the price, and that's going to be blown account. You want to take money out of the market, not add to it. So wait for those solid legs, those solid rejections out of trend lines, and yeah. So bull leg rejection, but then again, you got to get this new extreme. I didn't necessarily like this because yes, you do have the tick through here, but this leg, this bear leg, isn't great relative to this bull leg. And again, in hindsight, yes, this worked. You do have the double top. It did engulf down. You do have room. This range wasn't drawn yet, so you don't know that that's true. But again, this bear leg, that's a doji bar. That's a doji bar, and then price went all the way back up. So you're not confident that sellers are rejecting this bear leg. Like this is a strong bear leg, or sorry, bull leg, and I'm looking for a strong or relatively strong bear leg to reject it. These are just bad bear dojis, and then you get the strong bull leg here. So I don't take stuff like this. Again, as much as they work, they won't work in the long run. What I did take was this, and that's where again you want to look for these strong legs. I counted this as one bull leg, ignoring the micro movements, and again, that's what keeps you out. That's what saves you in the long run. Then you get this solid rejection. Look at these two strong bear bars all the way down. Price shot all the way back up. So now you've got the longs doing one last attempt to move price maybe up here. And then you get this tick up, shoots all the way down. Again, this is where the stops are going to be, all the way up here. Ticks through that. Price doesn't go anywhere. Then you get this good close, bearish, low risk bar. I'm going to take the short all day. And I did. And you can see when you wait for these good moves and these good rejections, you get these solid moves in the reverse. And again, I got a good runner all the way down here. So it pays to wait for these good movements as much as you don't want to sit on your hands. And that's how you become profitable. The professional traders aren't just jumping in willy-nilly. They're waiting for, a specific price line to confirm, and then they enter. And that's where we look to, again, whether, again, this price is moving from market makers, algos, whatever. We want to find out where they're entering, in this case where shorts are entering, or in this case maybe where longs are entering, and then we want to find that entry point, wait for a confirmation that that entry point is still holding, and then we look to enter in that second reversal. So, or that second failure in the opposite direction. So that's where this is the better move of all of this, and it'll save you in the long run. So solid trade. I'll take this all day. This was again a failed engulfing bar. You've got this where double bottom I like to treat as failed engulfing, because when you see this bull body tick through and you see this double bottom as a long, I think, hey, I've got my support here, I've got this rejection here, and got my double bottom. That's good to long. It's a solid engulfing bar. And then it closes doji, and then it shoots all the way down with a strong bear. I'm going to take this all day, and I got my 4 ticks. And again, I'm ignoring a lot of the swing low doesn't give enough room. These moves should be volatile. And again, the context isn't perfect. You're doing it at the bottom of the range. But because they're so violent, all the stops are here, this double bottom. I'm betting that they're going to get stopped out. They're going to then have to join the momentum with this strong bear leg, and it worked. I got my 4 ticks. So again, if this stalled, even this doji, I'd probably look to get as close to break even as possible before it reverses all the way up on me, and that's part of trading. It's not always going to work, but you can see in the past week I've probably taken, I think every failed engulfing this week actually has worked. So they're solid trades. I always look for them. I always take them all the time. And again, it's playing on the stops that join that momentum down or up, whatever the bar is. And again, to explain what a failed engulfing is you have this double bottom, as a long, I see this as support. I see this now, it has yet to close, but price creep up, go above this wick to then tick above and get all the longs enter. And they think, hey, that's a strong bull bar, strong rejection of this bear leg. I'm going to go long. And a lot of times that will be true. And you go here and maybe price goes all the way up. But it didn't, and it started to creep all the way back down. And when you enter as a long, you're putting your stop one tick below that. And again, that's what I'm betting on is price to come down, tick through that, get those stops out, so those longs now have to sell with the momentum that brought price all the way down, and then I enter with that momentum, with the double momentum, the longs closing, meaning they have to sell, with the sellers pushing price down, and then I get my four ticks. So I take these all the time, and they're very successful. So we got our leg up, chop chop chop. Didn't take anything here, and again, when this bull leg, the second attempt to this new extreme works, yeah, we tick through this where the stop should be, but this again, I don't take these unless it's a double top, maybe failed engulfing. This is now a good indication that this leg has stopped, you know, bull leg, but then you get this hammer, meaning price just hasn't gone any further up. And combination with this again, we're looking for that first leg up, that rejection, that second leg up, that rejection. Now I'm looking to short, but by the time this inside bar then ticks down, even if you look at the close, bad doji bar, don't enter on those. But inside bars, you do not want to enter when it ticks through, because again, that can tick through, then tick up, then stop you out, and then maybe the entry sometime somewhere over here. So you want to wait for the perfect setups. And if this was maybe a double top up here and then engulf to pull or bearish down, yeah, sure, I would take that. You're top of the range. You've got this confirmation. It ticked through the stops and shot down. But these inside bars, there's no guarantee. So I don't take stuff like that. Again, yeah, the move worked, but hindsight's great. 2020. But I like winning, so don't do stuff like that. Again, solid leg. The Bears have won. You had the support here, but then it shot right through. Then we've got this okay rejection. That's what I'm saying. You've got a good bar here, but then it's just doji crap here. So don't take stuff like this. You got your doji as a signal bar as well. Yeah, price held in this area, and yeah, it worked, but maybe you want to call that as a mini range and a failed breakout. But again, you don't want to take stuff like this. Just a bad rejection overall compared to this leg. And you can see, price just can try it again. So don't take stuff like that. Solid bear leg or bull leg rejection, another solid leg, but it didn't go up where I wanted it to. And again, it's a doji entry bar, and it's also I think 2 minutes to close. Yeah, 5 minutes or whatever. So then just chop at the end of the day. So overall, great day. 8 solid trades for me. I think the only thing looking at this chart review that I missed out on was this one, because again it ticked through and shot all the way back down, and that's where I would take that hammer. But beyond that, all these other yellow, not enough room, bad context. It's just pays to be patient, and you can see there's plenty of opportunities throughout the day. It's just what matters is you waiting for those good opportunities. As much as you want to the market, as much as you want to make money, how you make money is with the good setups, and that's being patient, that's being disciplined. So I hope you all got some profit today. I wish you all the best. Have a great weekend. I will see you on Monday for Monday's short review and the live trading session as well. Please like and subscribe, and have a good night.